Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about hyperbolic discounting. Now, that's a mouthful, but let me explain what it is really simply. Hyperbolic discounting is when you end up choosing, or you have this tendency to choose smaller, more immediate rewards over the actual big goal that you're seeking. So you kind of settle for the smaller, more immediate reward. And we do this all the time. It's not necessarily always wrong, but when you are on a mission and you're trying to solve a big problem, or you're trying to discover a literal or metaphorical treasure, and you just sort of settle for something along the way and quit the big mission, the big quest, the big journey, then it's a problem. And we do have a tendency sometimes to engage in this kind of hyperbolic discounting. We settle for these smaller kinds of immediate rewards over the large delayed ones, even when waiting is the smarter thing to do. And it can happen oftentimes where maybe you're in the middle of a treasure hunt, for example, and you have a clue, and you're starting to find out a solution to the clue, and you have it partly figured out, but it's going to take some additional work and effort. And if you just take a little extra time with it, you can figure out the entire thing, and it can lead you more likely to the treasure. But instead, you fall into this temptation where you just kind of go halfway. I've got a general direction of where to go. I'm just going to run off that way and start searching and randomly looking around. But it didn't take that extra time, and boy, could that have been the difference between you discovering the treasure or not. And of course, treasure hunting, that's a literal treasure hunt, but in the metaphorical sense, we're doing this all the time. So here's how we can overcome this hyperbolic discounting when we run into it. I've got 5 ideas jotted down in front of me that I'd like to walk through with you. The first one is you want to do some future self thinking. So before acting, picture your future self benefiting from patience and discipline. So you want to picture, okay, yep, I'm running off and I want to go do this little thing, but I'm going to pause, and instead of just taking the smaller reward, picturing myself being patient and disciplined and following through on it. And I'm imagining kind of what that outcome could look like in the future. And just considering that, reminding myself of the real reward that I'm seeking and not just this small one, that can sometimes keep you motivated and keep your eyes on the prize. Second one is this: break big goals into visible steps. So, one of the reasons why we get into this hyperbolic discounting is because big goals are overwhelming and exhausting, and sometimes we're tired and we just want to take the small reward and be done. But, but the big goal, I mean, that requires some more patience and discipline. So break it down into smaller steps and smaller goals, and that way you can experience a little bit of that dopamine fix, or that reward of achieving a small goal, but they're leading and building up to the larger goals. And this can work with all sorts of problem solving. So I'm going to solve a part of the problem, and then another part of the problem, then another part of the problem, and I'm going to piece them together. You break it down into those little goals, and that can keep you motivated, and that can keep you, again, still focused on the big picture goal, that big prize. Third one, let's talk about delaying small decisions intentionally. So one thing that happens is we get kind of stuck and we see an opportunity for a small prize and we just run after it. Just give yourself 10 minutes. So say you decide that you're going to settle, pause, give yourself a 10-minute break before you really settle in on that decision. And sometimes that's enough to remind you of the bigger picture, especially if you use those 10 minutes to apply some of these other strategies that I've described, and 2 more that I'm going to talk about here. Fourth one is to track your progress visually, or sometimes people even do this publicly. So you want to create some kind of progress chart. I use spreadsheets galore to track my progress when I'm working on a new book or a new article, or sometimes even a new video, and I'm doing the research for a video, and I create these little goals and I track my progress, and I'm getting closer and closer to the finish line as I go along, and there might be some different stages. So that ties in with the breaking the big goals into small steps, but making it visual. And some people are much more creative than I am with my little spreadsheets, and they'll do a map or a journal or a checklist or something, but you get the idea. And then the fifth one here is to, you want to connect to your mission and not your impulse. So teaching yourself to kind of stop and say, okay, am I just acting on impulse right now, or is this really going to help me achieve the big picture mission? And remind yourself why this bigger goal matters more than this temporary small fix that you get from the smaller reward. Why it matters. Why does this big goal matter? So connecting to this kind of meaning or this mission is going to reduce the lure of just going after that quick fix, at least a little bit. These are some things that I've found helpful and that I've found in some of the literature that I've read on addressing this idea of hyperbolic discounting. I hope you found something here helpful. If so, I'd love to hear from you in the comments.